At last. My name is Nick Dagan Best. His name is Patrick Watson. His name is John Streaker, the late John Streaker. No, he's not late. He just walked in. You just walked in the door. All right, and here we are. It's the it's the astrology live stream. In other words, when pronounced correctly. How are you doing, guys?
I'm great. I'm pumped. I'm really excited and happy to be here. We're in a pile up in Gemini, and I feel like we have the perfect double announcement for this pile up in the double-bodied sign of Gemini. What do you think of that, John?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to get my stuff together here. Give me a second.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so, yeah, don't worry. We'll come back to John.
We'll come back to John. John's doing all the hard lifting, and Patrick and I are harassing him. So yeah, he's doing what he does, and he'll join us as he's ready, because we have a bunch of things we're ready to talk about. But John is still working on the stuff that we're.
I gotta say, we kind of. I guess one of the announcements is sort of already visible on the screen. I just realized we kind of blew the secret before even talking about it. But as you can see,
yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Yes, as you can see here, we are offering a Nechepso pre-order. But there's a bunch of conditions. There's responsibilities we must meet, and there are conditions and bonuses for those of you who decide to take us up on the pre-order. And would you like to tell our audience a little bit about that, Patrick?
Yeah, well, one, I want to say, yes, John's putting in heavy lifting. I mean, I've also put in some work for this. I didn't. Not an insignificant amount, but in any case,
I didn't mean to.
I'm not actually sure what you mean by responsibilities.
We have to come up with the software that.
Well, no. Oh, I thought you were talking about the. Okay, I think we're having some confusion here. Okay. So basically, Nechepso, the astrology software that is currently in active development and will be launched this year, most likely summer of 2024, is now available for pre-order. If you scan that link, or you just go to nechepso.com, nechepso.com, you'll be able to find out all different information about the software, and you'll see the form is available on the front page to purchase a pre-order. Now, the very special thing about this pre-order is that it's only available for a limited amount of time. Basically, from now up until the time of the launch, the official launch for Nechepso, this is the only time that it's going to be available to buy outright for you to own. So what you get when you buy the software outright is you're going to get all future upgrades along with the software. So we kind of know that one of the gripes that people have about software nowadays is that you have to often purchase it through a subscription, and that there's very few options for ever owning the software outright. Well, we are sympathetic to that, and we are offering that, but it's only going to be available for the next few months until the launch. So this is your chance to own Nechepso forever outright. After we launch, it will only be available through subscription on a monthly or annual basis. Sorry, I don't know who that is, and I don't really care.
My connection is terrible right now. I can't even really hear anything. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, well, John, you just focus on what you have to.
Glitchy.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So if you go to nechepso.com or you scan the code, you'll see it's a very simple form to put in your information and buy Nechepso. You'll be on the list on day one. As soon as it's available to download, it will be able to be used on your machine, and you'll get all subsequent upgrades forever just for owning it. And so I think that's a pretty cool deal. Obviously, if you haven't, go ahead.
There's more to it, though. When you buy Nechepso outright with the pre-order, not only will you own it for good and never have to pay the subscription fee, but that also brings you into our exclusive club of beta testers. A lot of people have been, of course, offering their services as beta testers. There's a lot of people who obviously want to help us work out all the little things that will need to be worked out as we're developing and finalizing the software. And of course, we'll even after the first version comes out, we'll still be working on it and doing updates and stuff. But yeah, our beta testers will be those who participate in our pre-order program. You're basically you're investing in us, in our vision, in the product that we want for ourselves, let alone to offer you. We have our own selfish motives. We also want a copy of Nechepso to play with, just like the rest of you.
In fact, I did. I did just officially buy my own copy of Nechepso, or at least pre-ordering it. So we have thank you for addressing that component. Yeah, there's some other benefits. I guess let's talk about some of the other benefits of pre-ordering now.
Okay.
Were you going to, or was I going to? Okay.
I was waiting for you to. No, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course, the software is going to be available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So on those grounds, it's something that anyone can use. We don't want any more. I've been running my my Windows-based Solar Fire on a Mac for over a decade now. And not that doesn't work fine, but we want a product that just runs of its own accord on all the different operating systems. And what else is there, Patrick?
So all right, some other kind of features of the software. Obviously,
I'm good now, by the way.
Okay, good. So we've talked a lot about the software already in past streams, but just kind of a rundown of what it is. It is the next generation of astrology software. If you use software like SolarFire, I mean, I don't want to throw too much shade, but I think what I can say just as a strength of our software is that we have a clean, uncluttered, modern design that we're working on, and that it's going to incorporate a very powerful and ethically built astrological AI assistant for analysis, delineation, just being able to sort of converse with it about astrology. You're going to be able to do natal astrology, horary, electional, mundane, rectification, research. It's going to have a full suite of astrological techniques, especially those from the Hellenistic astrological tradition, Time Lord systems, ZR, etc. But it's going to have knowledge and data sets for modern astrology as well. And we're also hoping to expand to include other astrological traditions as well, such as Vedic. There's I wish I could show you what it looks like yet. We're still developing this, so this is an active development, but the main part of it that we have accomplished so far is the AI component, which is really critical to kind of the overall experience. So I want to address of course I want to address some of the questions here, because a lot of people have the same questions. So a lot of people are asking, how much is it? So to buy it outright and own it and be on the list today, it is $400. If you don't want to pay that and you want to wait and you'd rather pay and subscribe, it's going to be $30 a month, or you can pay on an annual basis for $300 a year. So that's the cost. And other people are asking, where can you buy it? You can go to nechepso.com, or just go right to the QR code in the corner of the screen where it says pre-order Nechepso. That will take you right to the pre-order form. So that is where you can get the Nechepso software. That's where you go to buy it.
All right.
Sorry, I was just reading through the question.
That was a very slow way to end a sentence.
You are, well, I'm out of juice. I was trying to imbibe the next to the questions. Go ahead.
Fair enough. Yeah, look, these two guys have been breaking their backs, working towards getting this all rolled out, and that they've done a fantastic job. I've been busy myself working on another angle for this, but I haven't been working towards what we're presenting tonight and what we're offering. So I do want to thank my friends and partners for everything they've done to make this work. So Chelsea's asking, is Nick incorporating his database into it? Ultimately, Nechepso is going to have like the super powered, high mutated, heroic alpha dog version of my database. It's yeah, it's the whole idea behind Nechepso. I mean, it's going to be really useful for consulting astrologers. It's going to be really useful for astrology students, but we definitely want it to be really useful for astrology researchers. So yeah, some form of a database will be included in it. We want, version 1, probably not quite what I have in there, but in follow-up versions, as we develop our relationship with the AI and work on other ways of incorporating information into the software, that I'd like to have something like that for sure. All right, John, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I had some technical difficulties when I first came in here.
Okay.
But I'm good now. I had to get everything squared away. Just to kind of piggyback on what you guys were saying about the software, as far as the pricing is concerned, we didn't want to make the software cost an arm and a leg, so it's rough. It's just slightly more than SolarFire, and it is cheaper than some existing other softwares right now, regardless of what we plan to do with it. We wanted to make sure that it was in a range that was fair for everybody. But then also, I saw someone say that they're low income. I mean, $30 a month to give it a try. That's not a whole lot of money, $30. But even still, if you are struggling like that, I would say maybe reach out with an email, and we might be able to talk to you or something. See if we can compromise with you about something. I don't know, but. So aside from that, though, we know that there was people who don't want to pay a subscription, and due to the nature of what we're doing, where it's going to accrue monthly cost, a subscription model is the only way we can really go forward with this the way that we want to. And given that, we still didn't want to neglect the customer base that said, we don't want to pay a monthly subscription. So we figured we could give this window of time to allow people to go ahead and buy it. $400 one-time purchase. You own it forever. We're not charging people for updates. We're not doing any of that other stuff that has been done in the past. It's a fairly good deal. You get to be a beta tester for the software. You get to test the AI before anybody else gets to test the AI. That's also part of this. And you'll also have some privileges with the other thing we're going to talk to you about today. But overall, we're excited to roll this out. And as far as the release date's concerned, I see someone asking that. At the latest, we're looking at the end of September as the absolute latest. But our goal is actually a lot higher, a lot sooner than that.
ASAP. ASAP. Like we said, we're really keen to have this ourselves. I mean, we're excited about creating it and launching it and sharing it with all of you. But we also, the three of us, all have our own deeply selfish motives, that we know that this is going to be such an awesome astrology software that we want to be using it ourselves. So the sooner the better. And
it's going to do everything SolarFire does and then some. There's nothing SolarFire is going to be able to do that this will not be able to do.
Right. Someone just asked, will one still need SolarFire? Does it cover all SolarFire does? It will be a complete and total upgrade and replacement.
I'm not trying to. Obviously, SolarFire has been deprecated for a while.
But no, we love SolarFire for what it is.
Right. But it's I mean, I own Solar Fire. I think all of us do, right? It's great, but it's just, it's not being updated anymore. There's nothing new coming with it. So what we're doing isn't, I don't even look at it as a competitor to Solar Fire. I look at it as a replacement. I look at it as the next level, the next generation.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it's not a competitor at all.
Yeah,
This will be very much a 21st century
this is
software.
going from the PS4 to the PS5. So
Right. Someone asked, is it for professional astrologers or fans of astrology?
everybody.
Everybody. So that's probably important to note that we have different modules planned for the software. So there is a personal module, which should be pretty accessible for people who are just fans or casual about astrology. If you're a bit more intense about astrology, or you're an astrological professional, then you're going to want to use the workspace module, which is going to be where we have most of the sort of chart casting and predictive sort of functions that you would want. There will also be a research module, and there will also be a.
Yeah, I was gonna say we plan the research module. We've had some discussions. We plan on making this a academic level research capable. Like if you want to do studies for academic purposes, we want you to be able to do
statistical analysis.
And keep in mind, like we're programming the software so that it can research a lot of factors that, for instance, that are discussed in ancient astrological texts, but that no astrology software has the power or the capacity to try to attempt to replicate. Like, for instance, the heliacal rising and settings of planets. There is no astrology software that can calculate that. Watson has worked out how to get AI to,
kind of a backdoor option.
A backdoor option, but this is one of the things, like the precise, accurately calculated heliacal risings and settings. Up until now, those of you who know, we've been using this, rather frankly flimsy 15-degree orb for all planets lineup, which is it's an approximation and nowhere near as close as it needs to be to really sort of test that element to horoscopic astrology that should always be there, but no astrology software calculates. And then there are things like, say, the elevations of certain locations. Is a person born at a high elevation place like Johannesburg or Denver or Albuquerque, or are they born in low elevation? Are they born sea level? These might have factors contained in the calculation of a horoscopic chart that have an importance that we don't detect, but the AI as a researching tool might help us sort of explore these other facets to three-dimensional astrology, and really sort of so it'll be a much fuller astrological knowledge base and experience and calculating tool than anything that's existed up until this point.
Right. And with heliacal risings, it won't just be treating it as a particular event. We also want it to be able to kind of be able to understand heliacal phenomena as global events, as insofar as you have a planet which may rise from the beams of the sun, but it happens in different parts of the earth. So you can kind of see when you plot it out, if you calculate it for tons and tons of places, then you're able to kind of see the movement of a heliacal rising event over a given period of time. And sometimes it can be quite a long period of time this happens, or particular places that are the only places where a horizon might be visible from. And that has all kinds of interesting astrological implications. So this is going to be the first software available that can even, that will really be able to kind of explore some of these really ancient, but also kind of unexplored areas. We have a few questions here, John. Do you want to?
I was going to say, just to tie on to that too, like we're even exploring totally new ways to view a chart altogether. So it's just a lot of really fun stuff here. Questions, astrocartography, absolutely. That's actually, we have a whole module that we're doing for visual stuff, such as maps and other things you might have heard us just discussing. A whole module based on visual stuff is going to be in the software. Will it be mobile or tablet friendly? So the software itself is a desktop platform. However, we are going to have a companion mobile application that goes along with it. So.
Tiffany says, just went to enter my payment info and it says it can't find my order. Will we need to wait a bit? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I think when that happens, it says, yeah, I think you have to enter your. I think there's an option there that says like you have to enter your name or enter your email. It should be the same email you entered when you first tried. If I would say, you know, if the payment hasn't cleared, you can obviously try the form again. But if you continue having trouble, hold on and send an email to themamunditechnologies@gmail.com and we'll find out what's going wrong.
If for the time being, you're the only person who's mentioned that happening. If we have,
actually, someone else did just say. Someone did just say
okay,
that that happened to me too, but I redid it. Okay. So try again if that happens to you.
Is it getting? Is it overloading the server? What's going on here?
All right. Oh well, thank you so much, guys. There we got. All right, you got to go through. Excellent.
All right. Cool.
Let me try to go back through the questions now.
Oh yes, we want to get back to.
All right. So someone said about the launch. All right. So once again, the launch. Our absolute latest date is the end of September, but we have a target date that is much sooner than the end of September.
Yeah, John has already kind of wrecked himself trying to meet some deadlines, so we don't want to put too much pressure on him, but we will be just working on this steadily.
The pressure does not end until I'm complete.
Right.
You know, I'm currently living out of my office, sleeping in here, and just living and breathing this stuff.
Yeah, I'm it's actually getting to the point where I'm logging in so many hours at the computer, like I'm wearing like compression stockings to like stop like, you know, to keep like the blood flowing through my body. Like I'm getting up every like I'm getting up, trying to be more active, getting up every hour and like walking around, trying to get in like a long walk at the beginning of the day. Like this stuff is like unhealthily sedentary. I just wanted to address a question that came in earlier in the live stream. Someone said, non-related question, do you guys have an approximation of when you'll be back to giving consultations? So Nick is still giving consultations until
Sunday. I've
Sunday.
I've closed the books. There's only a couple of slots. You know, I'll be happy to go back to consultations when this work is done.
Right.
But I find it very hard to do both things.
Yeah.
You know, even doing, you know, just 2-3 consults a day takes up a good portion of my focus and my energy, and it's just distracting when I'm trying to do another task. So yeah, I feel I really need to just take the time off and focus on doing this. So it's hard to say, but the sooner we get the software out, the sooner I'm likely to be back at it.
And for myself, I recently just reopened my consultations on a very limited basis. Basically, I'm giving up my Fridays and Saturdays to help as many people as I possibly can, and the rest of the week I am dedicating full time to Nechepso. It's just unfortunately what I have to do right now until hopefully this project is successful. Yeah, so I am available if you go on my website, patrickwatsonAstrology.com. If you want to see if there's a slot still available, it's limited availability, but I am back somewhat. So I hope that answers that. So let's get back to the Nechepso.
Somebody asked about monthly revolutions in Dodecatemorias. Yeah, not only is that in there, but I've trained the AI on all of that stuff too. So
that's already in the there's still a lot we're working on, but that's already done, that part. Yeah.
GPT-4 can't even do that. All right.
Nope.
GPT-4 cannot accurately
answer
questions about 12 parts in Dodecatemorias. So we're already the Nechepso AI is already superior to GPT-4 in that respect.
So the pre-order is available right up until when we launch. So
Right.
no later than the end of September, as we've been saying.
But I
But
would
if
say,
we really get it together and we launch it August 1st, then the pre-order ends August 1st. So
or
We'll
maybe
try to give
at the end
some.
of July.
We'll give
or
some
whatever
notice.
it may be.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll give some notice. Please join our mailing list. Actually, there isn't a way to just join the mailing list, but if you took the survey before or if you pre-ordered today, you have the option of joining our mailing list, and
Or you could just send us an email. Hey,
send us an email, and I'll add
send me to the mailing list. Yeah.
I'll add a mailing list form to the site today, and yeah, if you want to join the mailing list, there'll be a form on there, and you can keep updated. We'll be coming back out here, to do like some demos as we go along. I'm sure people want to see more of things in action.
Yeah,
So
we'll definitely do some update live streams. And yeah, I mean, just to sort of recap, the pre-order offer is available until we release the software. So you could have until the end of September, but we could actually get our act together, get the software out sooner, and you do risk missing out if you think you're waiting till the end of September. And who knows, we get it out in July or August, and then you've missed out. So not to light a fire under anyone's behind, but it is a limited offer. It is a limited
the thing
offer.
I want to add to that too is that if you do wait up until the last minute, then you're probably going to miss out on beta testing. You're probably going to miss out on testing the AI and all that stuff. So, I mean, if you did wait to the last minute, you would still avoid the the monthly subscription or the annual subscription. However, you would miss out on a lot of the other cool perks too. So,
I would love to address what Vandana has asked. She says you certainly need a push. You need a push of a lot more astrologers, of all expert astrologers working on different specific areas of astrology. Maybe at the end have a community of experts and do the trails and tell specific. Yeah, that is that's the idea.
That's the plan.
We
in signing up for the pre. I'm sorry, Patrick. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
That is absolutely
everybody's just so excited.
When you do sign up for the pre-offer, you're basically, in a sense, you're joining our team. You're part of our beta testing team, and that's you get to pay to work with us. All right. That's a joke. That's a joke. But no, you get to participate in the development of the software. So you will have literal input. Just by
more specifically though, we are going to be developing data sets for expanding and improving what the AI knows, and we are talking with individual astrologers who are experts in those areas to contribute to those data sets. So it's not just us. Like, obviously we're putting everything we know and about into this, but it is going to be a large and more expanding effort, and we hope that as we continue to grow, that we'll have the resources to have more people involved in making this a true sort of community project, and make it worth it for everyone.
We do want the software to be able to do other branches of astrology. This isn't a traditional astrology software, so it can it do everything that you want to do with this traditional astrology? Absolutely, it can. But it doesn't. It's not a traditional astrology software. It does. It's programmed for modern stuff. We plan on adding Vedic astrology, sidereal, all of that stuff. We want to have as many people covered as we can here, because with this sort of technology, one of the reasons why we undertook this in the first place is because on the software side, this is such a neglected field. There's just a really scarce availability of tools that one may need. And, not to say anything negative about the tools that exist now, because they're great. Like I said, I use SolarFire every day. I own SolarFire. I own Sirius. I own multiple softwares, right? Delphic Oracle. The thing is, they're limited to some regard just because technology is moving pretty fast right now. And there's a lot of things that we want to do and expand on that haven't been done yet. But first and foremost, it's just, a software that looks modern and is aesthetically pleasing and visually appealing.
And furthermore, I mean, it's got these different components, traditional components, modern components, and one can be a purist. I mean, it can be a purely traditional astrology software if that's all you want from it, but it can also be, excuse me, it can also be a combination, a fusion of different schools of astrology. So there's a lot of room for experimentation. You can create whatever sort of hybrid model that you enjoy in working with. And furthermore, it's entirely, we're programming the AI in such a way that it might, as AI has been known to do in other areas, Nechepso might wind up, learning, teaching us some things about astrology that we could never figure out on our own. So there's also that, there's that exciting, possibility as well.
As far as experts and stuff that I see in the comments, so one of the things we do want to do with beta testing, aside from this, obviously we want to reach out to, some of the biggest astrologers out there that are from different disciplines and allow them to test it. Because, obviously not, everybody kind of has their own sort of techniques or ways that they like to go about doing things. So having a diverse set of people from a diverse set of disciplines, all giving feedback on this is essential to our success, I feel like. And that is absolutely something that is on the forefront of the testing and getting everything ready. And yeah, user interface is absolutely everything.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's one of our main focuses.
Liquid light is
I can
so
already tell
bright.
you, it looks like something that you've never seen with astrology before. So there's that. I'll leave it with that.
All right.
Yeah. So one other thing I want to address too is I know, some people hear the word, those two letters AI, and they think like, oh, you're scraping, or oh, you're taking other people's. That's literally not what we're doing. We are absolutely doing this the most tedious way possible. And all reference, like, we've reached out to a bunch of authors and asked for permission, even just to credit them for and ask them for their permission to include things that they've talked about. And so we've tried to do this in the most ethical way possible. We hope when we have more resources, we might even be able to have licenses for entire books to put into the software. Actually specially requested, for example, for permission from the translator Mark Riley, who made the translation of Valens, to include that as in our software's knowledge. And so the entirety of Valens is in the software.
Pull it right up directly from the software. If you're like, what did Valens say here? You can pull it up right in the software.
So ideally, we'd like to have a whole library,
Yeah.
of things in that. But we have to grow first.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do with that, but there's a lot of potential, and we certainly have our eye on doing that. So guys, do we
as far as the experts and new users of astrology software, I do think that's I almost feel like the user interface is going to be so different than what everybody is used to with astrology software. It might just seem like, wow, this is, everybody's used to navigating through a million buttons in the top left corner and figuring out what stuff does. And this is just it's a very easy to navigate, very smooth, fluid user interface. And yeah, so I feel like it's easy enough for someone who isn't really computer savvy, because things are kind of, put together in an obvious way. But it'll make the process easier for people who are experienced and want, the utmost sort of technical application from it. It'll streamline that and make it easier to do. So, yeah, there's that.
All right. So with that in mind, gentlemen, we have something else we wanted to talk to our audience about.
That's right. We are,
believe it or not,
a double feature.
It's a double feature. This is our Gemini live stream. So of course there are two things to discuss. And this is the thing that John has run himself ragged getting prepared for all this.
You guys want to see demonstrations? Well, I got one for you today, but it's not what you think.
It's not what you think. This is a completely brand new service.
This is something that
unrelated.
Oh,
So,
I was actually asking people on the last live stream what they thought it was going to be, and someone actually said the right answer. I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa! How did they guess that?"
all right, John, I want to let you unveil this in the way that you want to, because I feel like this is kind of you're sort of the father of this project. We might even be able to say.
Come on, Daddy.
It's kind of funny how this played out for me because I first started working on this on my birthday this year, or actually not this year, but the end of December of last year, and I began my third house year, annual perfection, and very unironically, that is what we're going to be discussing today. Not my perfection, but
No.
third house.
Hey, everyone, let's talk about John's perfections.
So essentially, this is what's going on here. We are launching for free to everybody an entire social media network called The Third House. It's basically ready right now. The entire thing. I've never done actually web design like this, so it's something that I've kind of had to learn as I went. But it came together very nice. We know that a lot of people are kind of fed up with Twitter, and there's no real place for people to come together as a community, astrologically speaking, and just kind of have discussions and talk about the stuff you want to talk about in the right environment, so to speak. So on my day one of my third house year, I started building Third House, and here we are. Social media, not just for astrologers. So I will say this: the social network we built, while we do know that right here in the beginning, and obviously the Nechepso users are going to go to it, it's a lot of the core astrologers and enthusiasts will be there, but we actually hope to capture the audience of people that are casually into astrology here, right? We want it to be like Twitter can be kind of a toxic place. So one of our main focuses with this is creating an environment that is not toxic, and we will not tolerate toxicity in any form. And that's in the user agreement, about as clear as day. We didn't do a fine print user agreement. We made it really big and bold. Whenever you go to sign up, hey, this is the rules. If you don't like it, you can go back to Twitter. So
That's right.
Go back to Twitter.
It's a place for adults, or probably decent enough for mature teenagers. But
no, it's not actually, because it's the 18 is the limit.
18 is
so there's no minors. It's just 18 plus.
Very disorganized. Having trouble following your offer message.
Yeah, you might want to just display it, John.
Okay, so this isn't. It's actually not disorganized because I haven't got to that part yet. I'll explain to you right now. Third House Social is actually a part of the Nechepso software as well. The personal module of the Nechepso software will have Third House embedded directly into it. So imagine you're using your astrology software and you want to share something on social media, right? You'll be able to do it directly from the software to social media. Everything's tied together. This is a piece of the Nechepso brand, if you will. But obviously, it will operate independently of Nechepso also. There are certain features and things that, you would get with Nechepso for Third House that you wouldn't get otherwise. But yeah, it's all tied together. It's all part of the same thing, right?
Let's see it.
So that's a big reveal, because that's the main part of our one of our main parts of our personal module. Is we want to foster a sense of connectivity, not just so like right now, if you get astrology software, right?
John, show it.
Huh?
Show it. Show what it looks like.
I'm going to show it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to demo it for you guys.
Okay, good.
The whole thing is built. There's only a few little things that need to be buttoned up, and I'll explain that as I go, but it's 98% done. No, you can't sign in yet. I have to switch it on, but I haven't yet because I want to make sure that it's, there's no sort of bugs or anything. I'm just, like I said, it's 98% done. I'm about to show it to you. But the thing with the personal module and everything right now, if you get astrology software, I mean, it serves a very distinct purpose. You look at charts, you do certain stuff. That's cool. We want Nechepso to offer you a different kind of experience than any other software has done before. With the personal module, it connects directly to your chart and you're able to communicate with it about your chart. But then also with the integration of third house, it connects you to the community as well, right? Yes, we're building an astrology ecosystem is what we're doing. That's a perfect way to put it. So this is all, come together, and hey, with such a Gemini alignment, it's perfect time for social media, I would think. So without further ado,
chatting.
I can share my
drum
screen.
roll, please.
Nick is the percussionist.
Okay, I gotta share the screen there, and there we are.
Welcome to third house. Okay, so like I said, this is pretty cool. I wanted to point out, so I'm not just recently we've added another programmer that's been assisting me, and I just want to give Joey a shout out. He's been phenomenal so far. We actually added this. I'm going to point this out now. An accessibility menu over here for anyone who's visually impaired trying to use the site. You can see all that stuff. But let me show you what I mean as far as the registration. Okay. Okay. The user agreement. Welcome to third house. We're trying to avoid this place becoming another social media hellhole. So if you want to act like a jerk, go back to Twitter. We're only here for fun, friends, and astrology, and we're ready to kick people out who aren't on board with that. So play nice. Yeah, and we have a very straightforward user agreement here. However, if you need to see the legal terms, they're here. Or the privacy policy, it's all here. It's up to you. That's why I put voluntary reading here, but we wanted to be very straightforward with our agreement. And so I've already registered with the site, obviously, because I've been testing it. That's wrong account there. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna log in and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we got. So this is just a very lightweight version. There's a lot more stuff that is going to be added in the future. And obviously, because there's no users, there's not a whole lot on here currently.
Yet.
Right. So, I just wanted to show, like, one of the things that we plan on having that you can see up here is our transit ticker. We're going to have, live across the top of the social network stuff like, what's the next applying aspect to the moon? Is it already available? It's done, basically. I'm looking. I have almost the finished version. I just have a few back end things to tie together, and this will be open for public within 9 days. The 14th is what we're looking at. June 14th
is when we want to launch it.
Open to the public. You guys will be able to sign up. And now I can talk about the Nechepso thing. One of the things that we plan on doing if you do the pre-order with Nechepso is you will get a verified account forever with Third House, which will have its own perks, benefits, ad-free, stuff like that. So I can put that out there now. But right now, this is just a very lightweight version. And a part of that is we need to make sure that the foundation of what we're doing is solid. But we have a whole lot of stuff we're going to add to this. This is a very simple, basic view. You can see, I have the trend set up here, Jupiter and Gemini, searches, user profile. It's all come together. So like your tarot card of the day, there's actually this is going to be a carousel that has a lot of different things in here where you'll be able to go through it. But like, let's say right now I have my tarot card of the day. I can share this and be like, you know what, I love this card, right? And and bam, I've included where you can directly share your stuff just like this from the carousels, along with your regular repost, or I guess quote repost as well. It's fully functional, as in you can do everything right now that you can do on a social network. I have it done.
Right. It's already as functional as
I
Twitter.
have the mentions in. I have notifications in, which you can see here. Profiles.
Messages, direct messages.
Yeah, direct messages. You can see here. Been testing all that, so it is ready to go.
Hashtags. Hashtags, and you obviously can notify members with usernames.
Hold on a second.
There
we go. But yeah, so it's visually appealing. Accessibility is key here. Yeah. So it's like I said, this is very lightweight, and I can discuss with you guys some of the things we plan on doing here. It's actually, my screen is actually way bigger than most screens, so it's probably more so around, I'd say, like this. Hold on.
Do you want to describe the different types of feed options you have?
Oh yeah, so one of the cool things I added on here too is obviously you're on the global feed here. I can flip over to the people that I'm following, but then I also have an option which, since there's only one image here, let me flip so I can show you guys my wife's account. So let's say I want to just see, so you can see there's multiple posts here, but if I want to just see images, for instance, I can actually hit this image icon and it becomes a feed of nothing but images, sort of like Instagram. And then, you can apply this filter to your friends or the global, or you can flip it over to videos the same way. So there's a filter on the type of content that you can load in your feed, as well as, flipping back and forth between a global version where you see everybody's stuff, or if you just want to see the people that you're following. So it's pretty cool, I think. There's a lot of things that we're going to add to this, so I want you guys to understand too that what you're seeing right now, this is just the hi, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer a promotion about chatbots. Well, it sounds like it's a chatbot. Anyway, so what you see right here is just a very lightweight version. This is like the foundation. There's a lot of things that we're going to incrementally add into Third House as time goes forward. Some really cool things that you can't do in any other sort of astrology. Well, really just any sort of social media, because it's for astrology purposes.
I'm
waiting on my list to load.
Oh, okay.
Wait, wrong list.
Yeah, while you're working on that, what I want to remind people is when we do have Nechepso ready, Nechepso will also be directly connected to Third House, and so it'll be a well, I mean, just a great place for astrologers, generally speaking, but also the Third House becomes like sort of an adjunct to having the Nechepso software in a way.
So, like, the point of the integration would be like if you were looking at a chart on Nechepso and you want to post it to Third House, you could just do it right there from the software. You could just post right to Nechepso from where you are in the personal module. And
probably more so like your regular screen size right here. I got a very large computer screen. It's 50 inches, so it's what looks big or small for me is probably really big for you guys.
That looks good. Looks like the way it looks.
Yeah. That's about the regular screen size there. So just some information on what our plans are with Third House, because we do have a lot. One thing that we are going to do is probably going to be one of the very first things that we throw on here. Well, someone just said Celtic Trinity symbol for the Third House. Actually, the symbol, it's if you think about an astrological chart, those lines are pointing to the 3rd, 7th, and 11th houses, which are the social houses. So,
yeah, it kind of looks like a paper airplane, which is also kind of a
right.
symbol for messaging or short distance trips. These are all kind of 3rd house things. So we thought that symbol kind of had a few interesting evocations, but anyways, I don't want to disrupt what you were doing.
Yeah, well, I do want to say, like, the transit ticker up there is something that we're going to have running that is going to tell you stuff like, you're going to log in and it's going to be like, hey, this is the nearest applying aspect to the moon. This is the astrology for the day. This is, it's going to provide astrology specific information that can be useful. Another thing that we plan on doing really soon, there will be a little Mercury symbol down here, where you click the Mercury symbol and it'll give you an additional keyboard where it'll be all the astrological symbols, instead of having to, sorry Patrick, go buy his Chrome extension.
Yeah, no, well, I actually know, I really appreciate that this is in here. So I made a Chrome extension called Astroglyph, which you can actually buy right now in the Chrome web store for $5, and basically it just allows you to easily copy paste astrological glyphs, because I was so sick of having to like go to some obscure website, copy and paste them just to save on character space. And in this social media network, we're actually going to have this built in to the posting feature. So if you want to put in symbols rather than writing out the text of the aspect you're talking about or the placement you're talking about, you can just use the symbols right in the post. There's also some other things that we want people to be able to automatically insert into posts as well, John. Right.
Well, I do see someone saying, is signing up for Nechepso, does it automatically create a social media profile, or are they separate? They are linked. I'm the way I'm setting up the cloud infrastructure is where your login for 3rd house will be the same as your Nechepso login. So it'll be, I want it to be a seamless sort of experience where, when you log into Nechepso, it'll go through the same authentication service, and it'll, as Nechepso loads up, 3rd house will load up with you signed in alongside it. So I hope that answers that. Some of the other things we want to add, that we are going to add, one of the things that, I'm sure if I log out and I go back here, you'll notice when we go to register, there are some questions that are astrology related, time of birth, birth location, things of that nature. And that's because, well, obviously we're going to tie it into your birth stuff. Eventually,
the natal chart.
Yeah, we want to show that. I was going to say, well, it's not just the natal chart, it's other stuff related.
That's true.
But one of the things we want to roll out is whenever you go to your profile, you'll be able to have an option that's like, hey, you go edit your profile and you can be like, display your chart on your profile, right? And so then you can have like your natal chart can show up here on your profile if you choose to show it. Another thing that I've done is I've added where whenever a user registers, it records the exact time and location of that registration, and it creates an inception chart for your profile that you'll also be able to share it if you want to, if you choose to. So every I don't know what I did there. Every profile will have its own inception chart. And then speaking of charts, that's another thing that we are going to do. We're going to add a native chart posting into the post. So let's say I'm having, big announcement today, right? And I want to show people the transits at this exact moment. There is going to be an option where you can just check add transits, and it'll attach the transit chart and send it alongside your post. And then when the post comes up, it'll be your post, and it'll attach the transit chart just like a retweet or a repost or anything else. So we plan on adding charts directly into the posting. Charts will be in profile, not just your birth chart, but an inception chart of your actual 3rd house profile. Among other things, like we plan on having synastry tied into this, where you look at someone's profile and it kind of gives you some hints about your synastry, and an option like, view composite, where you could click it. You could just see, but all of this would be entirely dependent upon if the other person decides to share their stuff or not. So put that out there too. But essentially, right now this is just the foundation, and we plan on adding a lot of really astrology centric features into this over the coming weeks, I should say, because it's this stuff's going to be rolling out very fastly as we go live and get everything else going here. So let me look over here. Some of the other stuff we have. Oh yeah. If you don't have a birth time, that's okay.
Oh yeah. We want to talk about this. When it comes back, well, going back to Nechepso, another thing that we're working into the software is, obviously we'll have really good features for chart rectification, but also just in instances where one is working with, say, an event chart or a birth chart where the time is unknown, or it's uncertain, or even maybe the date is unknown. You just have a month and a year. Nechepso will still be able to work with you with these sort of more ambiguous pieces of data and help you make as much astrological hay from it as possible. So, this will be especially useful for researchers, but it could also, in certain instances, be really, really useful for, chart rectification and things of that nature.
Yeah. Other stuff I have over here.
Nia says, please keep Sinistry neutral and not in a love format like AstroSeek.
Everything we do is in a love format. Nia. We're all about the love format.
That's a good suggestion.
As far as the noon charts thing,
yeah.
I was gonna say that's not something we're gonna do, because whenever you have a birthday, in 24 hours, it's just so many different things that could be in different places. So the way we plan on doing it, and we plan on having the Nechepso like this too, is where if you don't have a birth time, but you have your birthday, it would essentially show you the range for every planet for that day. There wouldn't be a finite position based on noon. It would show you, hey, this is where your stuff might be until we can figure out what the time is, right?
Right. So over the course of a 24-hour day, the moon can be in any of 12 degrees, 12 zodiacal degrees. Right. So Nechepso will know this and present this to you and say, well, given the window of time you've given us, this is that 12-degree range that the moon could be in.
Right. And I think that just makes more sense to show for an untimed chart for a day. You'd really want the range rather than just a noon chart, because some people actually are born at noon, so it can be confusing sometimes to know,
And also, to really a timed chart, a timed horoscopic chart is just that. It's set to a very specific moment, and the angles have meaning. But the minute that you're just working with a date and not a time, then, the angles should not be there. And that's one of the other problems with, any other astrology software is, you've got these two different kinds of charts you might be working with, timed ones and untimed ones. And the existing softwares all treat them as if they're the same thing. And Nechepso will, in this case, Nechepso will know the difference between a time chart and an untimed chart and treat each accordingly.
Yeah, I think that, doing it, noon charts and stuff like that, it could lead people to get, attached to certain things that might not necessarily be true because they're so used to seeing it. So I feel like this is a more open and sort of honest approach to that whole process. So just some other stuff that we could touch on. I haven't even got, there's a lot of cool stuff on this list I haven't even got to yet, but I'm trying to just kind of go through little by little here. All right. So we've talked about the glyph keyboard. All right. So on the carousel right here, just to give you an idea of the type of content. Now, the tarot card of the day thing, I think is really cool. I'm a big fan of tarot myself. But some of the other things we've considered putting here is personal numerology stuff, astrological history of the day or month. Last time Jupiter entered Gemini, so and so and so happened. You might see some of that stuff on the ticker too. But just a lot of different, really the the carousel function over here, we want to be something that's fun, right? And like I said, you'll be able to, anything that you see, you'll be able to share directly from the carousel. If you see something cool, like like I just did, like, oh wow, Four of Wands, which very let me put it out there, I did not select the Four of Wands myself. The system gave me this, and this is the card of celebration here. I think I've only pulled this as my daily card like one time ever before this, so not bad. And once again, it's probably why I'm a fan of the tarot, because oddly enough, even digitally, it works very well. So yeah, aside from that, now we can actually talk about some more Nechepso centric things. But before I do that, one of the big things that we're going to do on here too, which this is the percent that is not complete yet. Right here is rooms, which they're empty. The rooms of the house are empty currently, but not for long. So I want to explain to you guys what rooms is. There's going to be 3 different types of rooms, where you're going to have public rooms, private rooms, and custom rooms. And we'll probably release each variation one at a time, just to make sure everything's running smoothly the way it should. So with public rooms, which is what we're going to start with first, which at launch there will be some public rooms available. Essentially, it's going to be threads where you can discuss specific topics. Like if you go to rooms, you might see a public room titled Jupiter and Gemini, or Pluto and Aquarius. And whenever you select the room, it's a thread. It's a big threaded discussion where it's people talking and discussing, whatever the topic of the room is. The next phase of rooms is the private rooms. And the way private rooms is going to work is after we have the database connected to your birth information, which is why we ask for it, and that's in the user agreement too, because we want this to be such a cool experience. It's going to look at certain things that are in your natal chart and group people together that have the similar sort of things to discuss it. So if you have, Mars in the first house, or if you have, Venus opposite Saturn, you'll be put in a room for that. You'll have private rooms where you can discuss your experiences about stuff with your chart with other people who have the same experience as you, because they're born with the same thing. And then the last thing would be the custom rooms, which would kind of just allow you to make a list, invite people to your room, and it would have its own news feed like this, but also, a pinned discussion the same way. So rooms is something that's really cool. That's going to be a big feature of this. And once again, the name of the site is Third House, and it's about fostering a sense of community and togetherness. And I think that that's a way, that we could really kind of help, bridge the gap on some discussions and everything, and bring people together that might not necessarily have the chance to talk about this stuff any other sort of way or in any other context.
Very cool.
Some other things I have over here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'm just going to try to breeze through. All right, another thing too is, which I haven't tied it together right now, it takes you to the search, but whenever this launches, you have a trend here, and it's going to populate your main feed with all of the posts of that trend that's trending. Let me see. Oh yes, all right. So that's a big one, and this is a really, really big thing. That's something that we've wanted to talk about for a while, but we haven't been able to because no one knew the Third House existed or anything else. And this kind of ties back into background. I'm sorry, I'm still reading comments. Yeah, background options. There's going to be, this is just like I said, this is a foundational thing. There's going to be a light mode, a dark mode. There's actually multiple configurations now as far as the user interface. I just don't have it live for this demo. So I'll say that. But to get on to what I was going to say about how it ties with Nechepso, and one of the things that we're hoping to do here, we're going to have a marketplace built into Third House, the directory. And the way that this is going to work, astrologers who use Nechepso, we are going to offer them a space directly in Third House that that allows them to, advertise consultations, educational material, anything that they are trying, to sell for themselves, whatever that embodies. We're going to have a marketplace exclusively for astrologers using the Nechepso in third house.
You'll
And,
also be able to tip, right?
well, yeah, that's something Patrick's been pushing me on. I'm going to get that done too.
Sorry.
Yeah, we want to have like where you can subscribe to people or like subscribe posts or tips. That is one of the things we've discussed. Okay, but back on the directory thing, the marketplace. As I stated, our goal here is to capture a much more casual audience with this, even though it is going to be tied directly into the software. And we want to give people who are just interested in astrology, whether it's you just started learning about it today, or if you're seasoned and you want to show people you're seasoned, kind of making a place where everybody can come together and discuss this stuff. And that's actually one of the things, the beauty of the marketplace and directory, because if you're an astrologer that uses the Nechepso, it's going to put your services, it's going to bring your services directly to the consumer in a way that I don't think is currently available. So, it's a lot of things that we've thought about to try to help astrologers, practicing astrologers with this. We do plan on doing various verification systems with this. Like I said, the Nechepso users will be, you'll have a badge, a unique badge that says, hey, you're a Nechepso user, and you get perks with that on third house that are equivalent to like what a pro tier might be somewhere else.
Nechep perks.
Well, I don't know about that. We were discussing what we should call the post here instead of tweets, maybe threets. I think.
Yes,
Threats.
Threats. That was Joey's idea. Brilliant.
Really?
Yeah. So yes,
Yeah.
our tweets will be threats. If you're
Sending
on
out
third
a
house,
threat.
you're
So,
threating at people.
Rethreating things.
Rethreating.
A retweet. That just sounds funny.
That's great. It'll
so-
catch on. The kids
yeah.
are gonna love it.
Hopefully. But yeah, so
Everybody's threating.
we plan on having a lot of stuff to.
Oh, the badges though. We'll also have other badges for
Oh, yeah.
institutions who want to, like organizations that want to join.
Yeah, let me backtrack
yeah.
on that. I got my Mercury is already in Sagittarius as it is. If I get sidetracked,
Sorry.
sometimes there's no turning back. Luckily, Patrick saved that one. So yeah, if you're an Nechepso user, you have your own verified badge. There are other badges that we are wanting to do. One of them would be if you're a practicing astrologer, right? If we can, obviously, there's some people that you just, hey, these are big time astrologers. Just being one of those people will get you a badge because, once again, if we have people who are casual to the astrology community coming here and they're looking for advice or they're looking for certain things, we want people to be able to see, hey, this person is the real deal right here. This is, maybe you should listen to some of the things they have to say, which brings me to the next thing, the organization badges. We do want to offer badges to astrology organizations, whether that would be something like ISAR or NCGR, but also, organizations outside of, those more political, I guess you will, institutions. If you're astro.com, we'd give them a badge, or AstroSeek or something like that, right? Just astrology centric
Brands. Yeah.
brands. That's right. And then the other thing that we thought would be really cool, but we'd have to talk with the organizations about doing this, is a lot of these astro organizations, they offer tests, right? Patrick, you might know a little something about that.
Right. Yeah. But basically, there's a lot of astrologers out there who have, invested the time and effort into achieving their certifications with different organizations such as CAPASA, which I'm the president of, but also people have become certified with OPA, with NCGR, and other organizations, I'm sure. So we want to allow basically certified astrologers to be able to show with a badge that they have these kinds of credentials.
Yeah, it would
And
show up like a medal, kind of,
yeah,
right? And the different organizations would have their own badges. So there'd be an ISAR badge, or like NCGR, like you said, has 4 levels. So, if we did one for them, it would, have like a Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4 to kind of show which level of NCGR you've done. But essentially, picture it almost like how the military has like all the ribbons. You see a bunch of ribbons next to someone's name. They probably know what they're talking about because they've been certified with a bunch of different organizations. So
right.
we want to highlight the effort that people have made in astrology. Right. And once again, in a community like this, where you're going to have people who are casual, coming in here looking for advice, looking to talk about stuff, this kind of points them directly in the direction of people who can probably give them the best advice, or, everything else. So that is something that we plan on doing alongside this too. Big plans for all of this.
Oh yeah, so, that's a good question. A follow-up question: would regular schools have badges like Chris Brennan's school or Kelly Surtees? I imagine like yeah, we can talk to them, but conceivably, yes, if you've completed Chris Brennan's Hellenistic astrology course, conceivably there would be a badge for that.
Or
unless,
Austin Coppox, or
yeah,
Well, we would.
That's up in part to Chris and Austin, but we would
Right.
certainly talk to them about that, and that would be ideal. And
I was going to say, that is, their intellectual property. So, I mean, it's really up to them whether they would want that.
Exactly. Yeah, we would want to talk to them first.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a unilateral thing, but
Right.
that invitation would be out there, and certainly the intention to be inclusive like that would be. So yeah.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, we're trying to. It's going to have a lot of really cool stuff specifically geared towards astrology, built into it and continually being added, and just getting better and better. I mean, even the image upload button over here is a planetarium telescope, right? So just the, little details and stuff. We got a lot of plans, and for this also, and something else I want to point out too, having a lightweight version of this to start off, it allows us to make sure that so think of it like this. Imagine we had 1 million features in it right now, and then something bugs, or then it might cause, a domino effect, right? Doing it the way that we kind of plan on doing it, rolling it out a single item at a time to a public audience, allows us to ensure that everything behaves the way it's supposed to. But just know that after, we get a lot of the stuff rolled out that we already have planned, it's going to be very robust for astrology. So it's really cool. I think so anyway. I mean, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, this is extremely cool, right? I mean, everyone has, watched in horror as Twitter, went from being extremely pretty cool to be on, even if it was sometimes a bit of a dumpster fire at times. And then it kind of went from that to what it is today, which is, a very different experience, and, arguably a lot worse. So, and there's just been a constant sort of drumbeat of demand for something. And I was really hoping that there would be one service that would sort of stand out as a place to go. And I think we finally figured out that we would just have to make it ourselves.
Yeah, this is what I would like to say about that too. We're kind of looking at the streaming model here, right? For so long, you had television consolidated into cable, and then streaming sort of decentralized that. And now, people have dedicated streaming networks, even though it's gotten a bit out of hand. I feel like all the streaming services I have probably end up costing more than what cable used to at this point. But, essentially that's what we're looking at. Right now, social media is toxic. And I think a big reason for that is because it is such a centralized thing, which for us, it just makes a lot of sense. If we're able to kind of branch off and build our own space, with our own rules and everything like that, and make sure, I can't stress to you enough how important it is for us to foster an environment that is not toxic, that is not negative, that is not people trying to bash each other. Hold on a second. I don't know what's. Hold on. But anyway, yeah. So it's a lot of negativity that you see a lot on social media right now, and we're taking extra precaution to make sure that is not something that you guys are going to have to deal with here. So to get into that a little bit, one of the things that I've planned to do here actually is I have on the back end side sentiment analysis AI programmed in, right, where if you say something that's just overtly negative, the AI is flagging it and sending it right to us. We will ban people. And I'm going to set it up to where if we end up having to ban someone, it's going to capture IP addresses and everything else, because, we're just, at the end of the day, we kind of have to draw a line in the sand. What type of experience do we want to offer people? There's already the type of experience like that out there, where you have people being negative and beating up on each other and just all that other stuff. It's Twitter. Go there. Have a field day. That's not the experience that we're going to offer. And we're going to make sure that is our front and center goal with Third House. Is to
no Nazis, basically.
Overly negative. It's being overly negative. It's kind of like pornography. You recognize it when you see it.
We're talking like overt racism, sexism,
right. So I'll put it to you like this: if you want to know the technical aspect of it, the technical application of it, essentially, the AI has 3 different parameters that it grades. It's been trained on 124 million tweets, so it's pretty good at picking up, if something's negative, neutral, positive. So essentially, think of it like this. There's 3 scores that are generated whenever you send a post or a comment or something: a positive score, a neutral score, and a negative score. If your negative score is probably up over 80%, and like I said, this thing's been trained on 124 million tweets, you're probably saying something that's really negative. We're not going to be like, micromanaging here. That's not the case at all. It's going to be, fairly high, but it's because we want to catch people that are in the extremes, because those are the people we're probably going to want to make sure, don't stick around, right? That's the sole purpose of this. There will be an option on the post where you can report a post if you feel like, something is wrong. As far as bias is concerned, if you want to talk about everything unbiased, go to Twitter. It's that simple, right? This is bias. It's absolutely bias. It's bias towards good energy, good vibes. That's it, right?
And I mean,
yes, there is bias. Positivity is the bias.
Think of it like The Office, in the sense that, not the TV show, but if there's a certain level of behavior that's expected in this particular place. You can be who you are, off the site, but in this site, we're here to come together as adults to talk about astrology.
Yeah, you'll be able to report. Like I said, you'll be able. If someone says something, you're like, "Whoa," and if we don't catch it, then you can just report it directly to us, right? It's just go to nechepso.com.
I almost wish.
Here, I'll show this. Pre-order link on my phone, watching, so I can't scan the QR code. Yeah, just go to nechepso.com and that'll work.
Yeah. What was I gonna? Oh yeah. So basically, we're using a combination of AI sentiment analysis, human moderators, and the community reporting, bad actors. And I think, with the combination of those factors, I think we're going to be able to reach, enforcement actions that are fair and warranted. So yeah, I'm not sure what, I mean, this is kind of an inexact science that, has, that we're going to take a swing at. But, we are definitely going to be trying to promote a place that is inclusive of,
if you feel
the
like,
astrology community and
if you
folks
say
therein.
something that might alienate somebody, or just, I mean, I feel like we all should have enough of a moral compass to know, you probably shouldn't say this or something like that. Maybe that's just me speaking because, I tend to
we're not
invest in people.
yeah we're not we're not out to be policemen or tell people what to think. We just want to keep a certain standard. I mean, really, good behavior. I think adults, generally speaking, know what that means, and they know if they're crossing a line.
Well,
so it's just like, if you want to cross lines, it won't be with us.
We are basically we really are kind of we're kind of using the ISAR ethical standards document as kind of our guiding light of what we sort of encourage everyone who is on third house to adhere to as well. And I don't think there should be much of a problem. There might be a few people who go too far. Obviously there might be a second chance here or there, or suspensions or what have you. But ideally, we wouldn't have to do any of this. But we just know that sometimes people can get rowdy and these things can happen, and we just gotta remember to be respectful.
Just to address some of the stuff that I see in the comments, just to clarify, with Nechepso, you downloaded directly and it's not connected to the internet. That is correct. You do not have to use the internet. And honestly, whenever you set everything up, you don't have to use third house in the personal module either.
Right.
You'll be able to, if you're like, what, that's just kind of, I'd rather just see stuff about me. You're not really trying to connect. Yeah, you can just rearrange your personal module, your workspace there to what suits you. But it is going to be initially embedded directly into it. And like I said, a part of that is, I just thought that's just such a cool user experience where you might be researching something or looking at someone's chart, or just there's a multitude of things that you could be doing, and immediately turn and be like, oh, wow, let me share this directly to social media instead of, screenshotting it, cropping it, and taking it and opening up another app. Like, it's all, we want it all to kind of flow together. I hope you can hear me now. Am I louder now, or is I quiet? Or
you sound the same to me. I saw somebody complain they couldn't hear you, but I can hear you.
Okay. Can everybody hear me just real quick in the audience?
Yeah. We have some good questions here.
Okay. As long as the AI itself isn't banning people, it's not. The only thing the AI is doing is looking for extreme examples, and it's not actually going to do anything about it except send those post IDs and comment IDs directly to us, and then we will do something about it. So that's how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I've also been talking to some
hatred, bigotry. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been talking to some moderators at Reddit who we are likely to bring on board to help us, filter through this stuff. People who are experienced at
let me try to fix
managing this kind of drama that can unfold sometimes.
I'm going to get, if my microphone's low, I'm going to fix it. Hold on. Let's see.
I mean, it sounds fine to me.
Sounds fine to me, John.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's some good questions here if we want to address them.
Okay, so let me look.
You're really loud.
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah, we're good. Astro Brain Farts, if you want to highlight that comment. Virgo question here. At some point, all social media platforms need an earning model just for development and monitoring alone. How do you see this with third house?
It's part of Nechepso.
Well, yes, but I think what they're asking is how is does this site make money? Like, how do you pay for maintenance and in moderation, etc.?
It costs money to have it existing, on a month-to-month basis. But I mean, so Yeah, it's we got to have ads on the site for that to help.
Minimal.
Yeah, minimal.
Minimal.
But we already have that worked out. So there will be ads. We will offer an ad tier or an ad tier. Well, ad tier is free. An ad free tier. And it wouldn't be expensive. It might be like $2 or $3 a month or something if you don't want any ads. And then eventually we will end up rolling out a pro tier, which we have some really cool ideas for that too. But like, imagine, for instance, if you're part of the pro tier and you see someone make a post and you're not quite sure what it is, and you want to ask the Nechepso AI, hey, can you explain this to me? Having a direct link to a server version of the Nechepso, but that's out in the future. But yeah, a lot of really cool ideas. And if we're able to capture our target audience, it actually could be a pretty lucrative operation, actually, independent from the Nechepso altogether. So, yeah, I hope my volume's better too. Turned it up a little.
Yeah, so people are asking again, how long is the pre-order offer? We did talk about this earlier, but for people who joined us late, we'll just repeat it quickly. The aim is to have the astrology, to have Nechepso out no later than the end of September, but it is possible we will have it out sooner. We're shooting for hopefully July or August. The pre-order offer will end as we release Nechepso. So we'll give some warning that it's about to come out and that the clock is ticking. But the advantage to engaging in the pre-order right away or as early as you can is then you're brought on board to be part of the beta testing team, and you have a hand in helping us fine tune it. And if you like us have a great stake in having an astrology software that meets all your needs and so forth, that can be really valuable. And of course, like since the pre-sale is $400, but once Nechepso is available, we'll only be selling it at a subscription where you can pay $30 a month or $300 a year. So by year 2 of subscription, you could have saved yourself money by buying it up front.
But I also want to stress that we're making it $30 a month and offering a monthly subscription model because we do want it to be reasonably available for someone who wants to try it. Instead of having to kick out $400 or like $500-$600 like some other softwares, just if you're like, you know what, I can spend $30 for a month to give it a try. We want to it to have a level of accessibility that other softwares haven't before because they didn't have a monthly model. So there's kind of a balance with this, right? Like, a lot of people don't want to pay a monthly subscription, but then there's other people who are lower income that just, they don't got $400 or $500 to dish out, right? So a $30 here, $30 there thing is much easier and sustainable for them. So
but that'll only be available once we have Nechepso out. So for the time being,
that's after launch. Once we launch,
once we launch. So sure, you'll be able to access a $30 a month subscription, but by then the pre-order offer for the one-time own it $400 option that will be over. So just not to confuse people and think that they can start off with a $30 a month subscription, then sort of buy the software at the pre-order price.
And we're also really transparent about the ads that are on Third House. I think Patrick put into the actual agreement exactly where the ads will show up and everything, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely included just that basically these ads and I know that like some people also have like kind of concerns about privacy in ads. We actually will not be managing the ads at all. The ads will be handled with your relationship with Google. So it's Google ads essentially. We won't actually be receiving any information. We're not selling your data or anything like that.
No, definitely not.
We don't
want it.
The only way in which we're using anyone's data is just to make the service better, basically. And
it's for your obviously stuff, so we can make it interactive with you. That's all.
Yeah. So I mean, we're using it for kind of for making the service better, not for any kind of other sort of gain or something.
But to be just more specific and just, to offer transparency here, the way that the ads are going to be laid out, you might see like an ad on the main site, somewhere. And then I believe that Joey said 5%, like if you're scrolling the news feed, it's only like 5% of what you see would be an ad. So it's not a lot of ads at all. We tried to really keep it to a very low level, but something that was also sustainable for the operation to exist. So
It's like 1 out of 20.
Yeah. So
1 out of 20 posts would be an ad potentially.
Yeah,
so,
it's not going to be the Facebook thing where it's like half ads. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that just makes like social media so miserable, and we toiled over this for a bit, but we just decided to make to just do it minimally, and just make the site as fun to use and fun to be on as possible.
So another 6-7 weeks. Are you referring to Third House or Nechepso?
Well, Nechepso, right? Because Third House we
yeah,
plan on launching on June 14th.
In the comments, that's what I was referring to.
Okay, so yeah,
if it is Nechepso, so
I don't know.
We have about it just depends on how certain things come together. The earliest target we have is the end of July. I'll go ahead and say that. And the latest target we have is the end of September. So guaranteed by the end of September, it'll be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Nechepso.
Yeah.
Third House, we are going to open it up to the public on June 14th. So that is
and of course, Nechepso will be an ongoing concern. We're gonna release a really outstanding version that has all the stuff that we're talking about, but we're gonna keep working on it and making it better. I mean, this is obviously it's not something that'll just be built and it'll be done, and we won't just sort of let it linger at a certain level without developing and growing. So that's important to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just looking at all of the other contributions here.
Reading the comments.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, it is. Sorry,
for anyone for anyone here who is late, yeah, Third House is a new astrology-centered social media network, and it will be available on June 14th.
And it is an adjunct astrology exclusive social media network that is adjunct to the Nechepso software.
It sort of integrates with the Nechepso software. So it's and this is the preview of it. So that's what's happening. If you're
wondering what the hell's going on, what are these guys talking about?
Nechepso is available now for pre-order. Which you can find by going to www.nechepso.com, NECHEPSO, or you can just scan the QR code in the top left of the screen here. So,
and once again, the actual Third House social is totally free for everybody. It's just like any other social network. It is, anybody can join. It's not exclusive to Nechepso, but Nechepso does offer perks for Third House social. And the user experience, like I said, we want to have a seamless experience between the software and the social network. So, you can share charts directly. You can just, open up a sort of a medium that hasn't previously been there, especially in today's age of social networks and everything else, right? So, yeah.
I just closed the window because we had it on there for so long.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and just the reminder that this QR code, you can pre-order Nechepso. And as we outlined at the beginning of the live stream, pre-ordering Nechepso gives you the opportunity to own it outright. Never have to pay the subscription fee. That will be the only way to get it after we release Nechepso. And also it brings you in to be one of our beta testers. As we're developing the software, and those of you who have pre-ordered, and the first to test the AI, So you'll have all this sort of early exposure. You're helping us develop it, give us your input, and you get to work with some of the more advanced tools before anyone else does. So there's a lot of perks to being to pre-ordering the software, not to mention the amount of money you'll save, because once Nechepso is out, it'll be a $300 per year subscription or $30 per month. And so this is just a straight $400 up front to own it for life. So all kinds of reasons to get in on that.
Yeah, that is a good idea. The badges for the main three, Sun,
Yeah.
Moon, Rising, that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah. I was thinking we would do that.
That's something I should say too. I actually mentioned this before we actually went into the live stream in our personal chat. Was any ideas you guys look? I'm gonna put it. We're gonna release this thing on the 14th of June, but I mean, it's basically done now. So if there's anything really cool, like the idea that was just presented, that you guys might want to see, let us know, because I will be able to throw it in.
Yeah.
If we think it's really cool too. So yeah.
All right.
And the launch of Nechepso is undetermined, but it will be this summer, latest end of September. Of 2024. So it's soon. It's
the end of July, y'all.
We're aiming for end of July. I as someone who's in the predicting the future business, I'm guessing September is the most likely date. But
we'll see.
Yeah,
well, I'm currently basically sleeping in my office and just waking up and doing this all the time. So I'm doing everything on my end. Believe me.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the other thing about the pre-order is, in doing this, you are investing in the software, and the money that you're investing in Nechepso gives us a chance to, develop it and really spend the amount of time and effort that it really deserves in order to be everything it needs to be. The beta testing starts as I think as we're sort of developing certain.
As soon as we get closer, we'll probably end up sending out an email to everyone who's made the pre-order, and something else, more information we probably get from you guys that would help us on our end. We'd be asking you like, hey, what's your operating system? Like maybe your system specs, stuff like that. So we kind of get an idea on how things perform in different environments. Like that's really what we thought would be very useful about this, by setting it up to where, whoever does the pre-order, by beta testing, we're essentially getting a random group of people. We don't have any idea what they're using or anything. And I feel like that would give us some really good data back to make sure that the Nechepso experience is one that's seamless and works the way you want it to, no matter what you're using, right?
Oh, one other thing we should probably mention about Nechepso as well is we want to make it accessible for all people who are visually impaired.
Yeah.
Currently, there is no single astrology software that it can kind of do everything that you want to do. For someone who is visually impaired, they have to switch between different programs that kind of do the different thing. Yeah, different screen readers and different software options. And so we kind of want to make Nechepso sort of a one-stop shop for all astrologers who are visually impaired. So
you don't have to worry about compatibility. I see someone talking about Mac products. I'm on a Windows PC here. I have a Mac right over here, and our other programmer Joey's running on Linux, so it's going to be available on all three.
Yeah, it's going to run on all three. And yes, we had a really great productive meeting with an astrologer who was visually impaired, and she took us through the experience of what an astrologer with a visual impairment has to go through using a software like SolarFire, and it really is tricky. So that'll be the other advantage. Even if you're a person with sight right now, if something goes wrong and you lose it, you can still use Nechepso. And of course, those of you who've been
to make sure if you're visually impaired, you will be able to use the software just like everybody else gets to use it. That really bothered me, actually. That is such a terrible thing that, people probably don't even realize. I mean, even, we had no idea until we actually saw ourselves firsthand. So, I mean, yeah, being able to build it in a way that's inclusive in a way that's never been possible before is also something that's very important to our mission. So yeah.
All right, just looking at all of the comments.
Yeah,
Agree with that,
accessibility
yeah.
does make stuff better, but like you see, we
Yeah.
already have. I plan on actually updating the code for Third House too, so it is compliant for someone who's completely visually impaired and has no vision. But we do already have the guide on the side for people who are partially visually impaired. That's already added.
Right.
So.
One more time, Danielle asked, Danielle's on lunch. How long will we be doing the pre-order? No later than the end of September, possibly only until July. When we release the software, the pre-order ends. But also, if you wait to do the pre-order, you miss out on some of the perks because those who get the pre-order are also invited in on the beta testing for the software and to have early access to the AI. So there's some perks that if you get the pre-order sooner, you'll really be able to enjoy.
Dark mode and light mode is so, I don't know, old school, I guess now. What we have in mind is something way cooler than a dark or a light mode. So put that
cosmic mode, baby.
Cryptically, very cryptically.
Cosmic mode.
But yeah, something I also want to add on the whole beta testing thing is, this is probably not going to be limited to just right now, right? Thing is something that we, this is our child here, as Patrick was saying earlier, right? We're trying to nurture it and make sure it's as good as it could possibly be. Our everybody involved all has the same exact goal, which is the best possible product that we could do, right? So, as we go to roll out more things in the future or add things, I would not be shocked if we needed to reach out to the same people who are beta testers to see if they could try out new features and stuff like that, through the foreseeable future. So it kind of, like Nick said, it kind of puts you on in part of the team in a way, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be part of the inside, club and help us turn it into a side. And yeah, whatever input you have, it might be something really critical, something that really makes it better for everyone that the three of us haven't thought of. So it's most welcome. And yeah, and it gives you a chance to be involved in the investment you're making, which I think is also important. You're not just making a purchase; you're investing in the project and participating in it if you are so inclined.
Yeah. But so June 14th.
People keep asking when the pre-order ends.
Yeah,
So the live stream is starting to become me answering the same questions over and over. Yeah, we're going to
answer the way you could just pin it on the screen somewhere.
Yeah, I wish you could too. We'll have to
look into that.
I have an idea. You give me 1 second, and I got this covered. You guys can keep talking. Hold on.
Okay. So yeah, well, the answer is we're going to try and get the software out for the end of July. I imagine it'll probably be the end of September. One way or the other, as soon as the software is ready, then we will switch to selling it only on a subscription model. So the pre-order is right up until we release it. So it could be as long as late September. It could be as early as late July. But either way,
we don't want to commit to a date. There's so many.
Yeah, we don't want to commit to a date because we're going to be working just on this. This is why I'm taking time off consultations. This is why Patrick has been off consultations. He is coming back to a sort of temporary arrangement, but we're really just focused on this. So until it's done and done properly, the pre-order exists. And like we've been saying, that getting the pre-order isn't just a matter of buying the software. It involves you in its development if you choose to be involved. it gives you access to some of like the first testing of the AI and things of that nature.
Okay, so let me do this real quick. This is kind of a silly solution, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Well, what else did we want to cover, guys?
That was pretty much it. I do have a link for if you want to sign up to be on our mailing list, because you didn't actually have that. So I'm gonna try to put that up
Oh man, my thing
on
just
the
went off.
website.
We're gonna end anyway. I
now.
might as well.
Yeah, I think we're ready to wrap up. I mean, unless there's more to say.
I mean,
Otherwise,
just,
I'll just keep answering the same question over and over, and people can watch the video even after the live stream and get those answers. So
just a quick recap then. June 14th, we are going to release Third House Social to the world. And like I said, it's totally free. Something that we didn't say that I probably want to include upon the launch of Third House Social, it's going to be web-based only for now. We want to release the mobile versions of both Third House and Nechepso simultaneously. So the mobile app for Third House is actually kind of based on the personal module for Nechepso. So that's one of the reasons why we want to wait on the releasing of the mobile app for it. So it's going to, these first couple months, it's going to be web-based only. That's something I probably should have said a long time ago already in this stream that missed me. But yeah.
okay.
Alrighty. Sorry, I tried to make this mailing list form in record time, but I'm not sure it's gonna quite work, because I just realized no one will have the option of unsubscribing, so we really need to use a proper service for this. All right. I'll try to figure that out.
Let's have it ready for 14th. When we launch Third House on the 14th, we can set up the mailing list then, surely. There's not going to be much about the mailing list between now and the 14th, right?
I mean, I'll get it set up way before then. I want people to be able to join, the mailing list so they can know when things are coming out. I just can't do it right at this exact instant.
Okay. All right.
I'm sure it'll be up sooner than later. But yeah, just to recap that, web-based in the beginning, gonna release the mobile version of it alongside Nechepso, because the mobile version of that all kind of comes together, and you'll see why. But yeah, Third House June 14th, pre-order open now. Software is on the way in the next few months.
All right. So there you have it, folks.
That's the double announcement, basically.
That's the double announcement. We've been keeping this under our hat, and it is out. The cat is out of the hat, and now you know what to do with it. So, yes, this is a QR code. Get it while it's hot, or go to nechepso.com and get that pre-order. Like I said, the pre-order is number one, it's an investment in the project. So it does help finance us so that we can, keep our bills paid while we're working on this. And number two, it's an investment in the sense that the pre-order entitles you to a bunch of perks, like being involved in beta testing, like having the early access to using the AI. And finally, the pre-order allows you to buy the software outright, which is not something that will be available once Nechepso is released. When it's released, it'll be a subscription model. It'll wind up, over time costing way more money than the relatively paltry $400 that we're asking for the pre-sale order, which will entitle you to own it for good. Even if you buy a new computer, you can still, if you own it, you own it. You could go through 5 computers.
Just use your sign in. All updates should be automatic.
Exactly.
So I do see real quick, when do you think the app might be available for phone use? So just to reiterate again, the app for Third House and it would end up being released alongside the Nechepso, because the app for Third House is going to be based on the personal module of Nechepso, which is why we kind of don't, want to put that out there just yet. So the app will be released then, but by the time this comes out on the 14th, you'll be able to. It's going to be a version of it that is mobile friendly. Like you can just open Third House up in your browser on your phone, and it'll have a mobile version. That works very well. So,
right. Nechepso, though, is a desktop software.
Yes.
Right. We have talked in the past about having other sort of, add additions to that, but that's what it's going to be when we release this version.
If you have any ideas that you would like to get to us, shoot us an email because we check them for sure.
Yep. We're really invested in what you have to say and what you want out of an astrology software. So we look forward to hearing from you, especially if you are involved in the pre-order beta testing team. All right. Well, gentlemen, I think we've done it for the evening or for the day. It's daytime where you are. It's evening where I am.
It's evening. It feels like evening all the time for me. I'm tired.
Oh boy, God! You know what? Everyone, I think everyone wants
round of applause for John.
Heroic efforts here.
Seriously,
John, and maybe take just one day off.
John, take your shoes off. Go stand on the lawn, touch some grass, and feel nature through your toes.
I don't think Saturn on the Ascendant is going to let me take any time off.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a bit to do before June 14th, but we're like 98% of the way there, so we just have a few more finishing touches to put on there, and we'll be adding more on even after launch as well. So,
all right, scan that QR code while you can, folks, and thank you, Patrick. Thank you, John, and we will see you folks on the 14th. We're going to do another live stream on the 14th, right? Isn't that the idea?
Well, I mean, we could. Well, so I mean, we could if you want. Boy, yeah, you can tell I'm tired. I can't even say words coherently right now.
Okay.
I was up all night coding. I was literally coding all the way up until about 20 minutes before the live stream. That's why I came in a little late, just so you guys know.
Yeah, no worries.
So anyway, the Third House Social on the 14th, it would actually come out early in the morning. Like it would come out in the morning, so you'd wake up and be able to go to the site. Yeah, but we could do a live stream and kind of have a little party if you want. I don't know. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be up that early, it's going to be around sunrise.
We don't have to do the live stream at that early.
Right. I mean, we could do the live stream a few hours after it comes out.
Sign up and
we'll have a party for the launch.
I think we should. That gets.
It's my daughter. It's actually my oldest daughter's birthday on the 14th, so I'm probably gonna be having a party anyway.
And it's my dad's birthday, but it's also the orange. Birthday, so anyway,
trying to not think about that. Anyway, so awesome. Well, it's been great being back here.
And Leo Rising too.
It's fun, reading all the comments and interacting with you guys, and hope you're excited about this as much as we are. Nechepso is available to pre-order right now on nechepso.com, and Third House Social, a new astrology-centered social media service, is coming June 14th. And the URL, I don't know if we should put that out just yet.
Either way, I'm going to have either one. You can go to either one, and it's going to redirect to the site. But the final URL, that's actually one of the things I was doing, because I had one of the testing sites still up, and I was like, oh, let me remove this in case someone hears the link.
Mm-hmm.
So we're good on that now. But the eventual links will be either thirdhouse.social or thirdhousesocial.com. That is the links that we own for this. Then you can go to either one, and it's going to take you there. Thirdhouse.social or thirdhousesocial.com.
Very Gemini-like, I must say. All right.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you so much. John, get some rest. Patrick, you too, get some rest.
I might take a nap.
Great job. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And, we miss you. So it's fun to do these things and catch up with everyone. We'll see you on the 14th when we release Third House. And don't forget this thing. All right, folks.